Hey, my loves. Welcome to episode 26 of Confessions from a Red Couch podcast. I am your host, Janae, and this podcast is all about improving the relationship with yourself so you don't take your trash to others. Now, come on in, take a seat, girl, get your favorite drink, dude, roll a little something, get your favorite cigar, and let's have a great, funky old time. When looking for catering options, you should prefer chef-prepared, restaurant-quality food with full customizable menu. Allornunn Catering is the company for you. Allornunn Catering specializes in Southern cuisine as well as steakhouse, French, American, Creole, and Cajun cooking. Allornunn Catering will also be relaunching its meal prep options via their Fit Life, Food Life menu that will be available for delivery throughout most of the Houston metropolitan area. For catering quotes or any questions, contact All or Nunn, Nunn Catering at allornunncatering@gmail.com. Make sure to like the Facebook page, All or Nunn Catering, to stay up to date on all of your catering options. The link to the Facebook page and the email address will be in the show notes. Make sure you check out All or Nunn Catering to meet all of your catering needs. All right, kids, so here's the thing. The title of this episode is I Messed Up. That is the title of this episode. We are still in the goal setting series. This is actually the last episode in the goal setting series. And I just want to say I messed up. I was supposed to have a guest today and I made a mistake. And so I'll get into that in confession time and why and how this applies to setting goals based on who you are, being true to your goals, having self-awareness when you're setting a goal so you know how you can overcome your weaknesses. So I'll get into that in confession time. But right now, let's jump into random lessons in dating. So in 2020, we should go into dating with a whole new idea, a whole new outlook, new decade. Let's get this popping. Let's get it cracking. Let's do some new things in 2020. So my advice, my random lesson in dating for 2020 today is manage your expectations. When we go out on dates, your expectations should be to get to know the person as well as you can. Not to put the person in a wedding dress or tuxedo, or, if you're going to get married on a beach, some good old khakis, linen suit or whatever. That is not, and walk them down the aisle. That is not your expectation. That should not be your expectation when you go out on your date. You are trying to find, on dates, you are trying to figure out who these people are. We don't know most of these people from jump. Some of us get lucky and we meet friends of friends, or, we meet childhood sweethearts or just friends from our childhood that we've already known and can kick it. But you don't know them in the dating capacity of their lives. So you need to make sure that as you are dating, you get to know them on a dating level, at a different level. Not as, your homegirl, your homeboy. I get that. That's cool. Not as future baby mama, or I'm walking down the aisle and saying yes to them after the second date. That's not your expectations. You need to get to know these people. You need to get to know the people who you are dating. You need to see not just their potential, but what they're all about. Have meaningful conversations. Talk about things that you like and don't like. That way you get to know them on a deeper level, on a personal level, on a dating level, on a partnership level, but not as soon as you get to know them like that, y'all hopping in the bed. Don't do it. I promise you, it is gonna cloud your judgment. So manage your expectations when you're going on dates. And there's a couple of things that you can. Have a couple of questions that you want to talk about in your mind. Go to an interesting place where you can have a meaningful conversation. Go to a cafe that has, really cute art or whatever, so y'all can talk about the art. Or even go to a museum. Go someplace where you can have intelligent conversations so you can see what that person is about. If if they can't really expound on things that they like and things that you like, chances are that ain't the one for you. So manage your expectations. You are not going on a date to do 90 Day Fiance. You're not going on a date to do Married on First Sight. We're not doing that. What we are doing is building relationships. That's what we're doing. We're getting to know people. We're trying to figure out what they're about, what they like to do. Do they like to read? Can they balance a checkbook? Like, those are the things that you need to be talking about on your dates, and not what color panties you wearing. Like, that's not it. Or not, so what that mouth do. That's not our expectations in 2020. Okay. So if you want to build meaningful relationships, if you want to date with a purpose, that's what you need to do. Manage your expectations. Think about the things that are really important to form relationships, and not things that really don't matter. Let's get into some basura, which is social media. Let's talk about these good old social media hot topics. Why? Because it just makes things so much better and easier. You know, I want to keep things light. First thing, on the real, if you don't know who Amanda Seales is, she is one of the new hosts on the talk show The Real, and Lonnie Love, and one of the T and Tamara Laurie, one of those twins on there. I'm sorry, I'm not great on it. I just saw this clip. So I saw a clip where, Amanda Seales is the new host, and she's very conscious. She's very socially conscious and socially aware, and she will speak out on injustices. She is pro-Black. And, and all the women on there are women of color, and they all talk about issues that have to deal with women of color. And today, I guess on one of the recent episodes, they read a tweet that was kind of like somebody ranting. And on the rant, they basically stated that they are tired of hearing them talk about issues that affect women of color, either being obese or, racism. And the viewer just ranted about it. Now, if you've never watched The Read, which, maybe you thought it was something else. Maybe you thought it was The View. Maybe you thought it was The Talk. Maybe you thought it was some other show than what it was. The Read is geared to women of color, ages, I want to say about 25. Their demographic is 25 to about 45 or 50. It is not for you. If you are not a woman of color, you are not their target audience. So if you go on and you rant and rave about how they're talking about racism and that makes you mad and you're tired of hearing it, chances are you are one of the people that are the cause of the problems that they have to talk about. So sis, I'm so happy, and I was so proud that Amanda and Lonnie Love kind of addressed it with grace. But once again, if you don't like what they talking about, it doesn't hurt if you get your remote control, you look at the little CH button that's called the channel button, and you press it. You know what it does when you press it? It changes the channel. That's the beauty of television. You don't have to watch it. Isn't that a thought? Isn't that freaking amazing? I tell you what, I am tired of people who get upset when marginalized people begin to talk about their problems because they don't want to hear it, because they're tired of hearing it. Well, guess what? We tired of dealing with it. We are sick of dealing with it. So figure it out. If you have to rant about, if you have the nerve to come to whatever that is not geared towards you and rant about what they're talking about, it ain't for you, sis. Get your remote control and change the channel. You can go to The View. How about you just turn to Fox News or the Fox News station. They got a bunch of stuff on there. Woo, I'm keeping that stuff together. They got a bunch of stuff on there that you will want to listen to. They telling all these falsehoods about your president. You should be, you'll be right in the mix of your people. But come on, y'all. Let's stop ranting about other people's safe places. The Read is not for you. Neither is The View, honestly. It ain't for you. Find something else to watch. Chill. And quit being butthurt over people's opinions. Next. If you haven't heard, DaBaby got in some recent I would say it was, I would say it was something that should be addressed. But he shouldn't be in trouble because I think I would have did the same thing. So he was at a hotel in Los Angeles with his daughter. The valet asked to videotape. He told the valet, no, because I'm with my daughter and it's a safety issue. The valet proceeds to sneak around some cars 50 feet away and still records him against his wishes. The baby kindly hands his daughter over to his uncle. He gets the valet and basically tells him to have several seats while pushing him into the seat and telling him that he is violating his rights. Can I say I'm upset at his actions? Nope. Because he stated what the valet shouldn't have done. The valet should not have recorded him. He stated, do not record me. If someone says, do not record me, that doesn't mean sneak around and find another place to record me. Don't do that. That's dumb. Like, that is against the law. Don't do that. Like, you shouldn't be doing anyways because you're on the clock, sir. You are on the clock. And you're in Los Angeles anyways. It's not like you wouldn't have seen him again. Come on now. Come on, homie. And then for TMZ to try to make it seem like the baby was in the wrong, I don't think he was. He was protecting his 2-year-old daughter. Ask me. My niece is beautiful and gorgeous. If I see somebody sneaking a video, like taping us, please believe I'm going off. Like not off, but off. Because I'm protecting her from weirdos like that. And that's what he's trying to do to his daughter. If you went to his page or if you follow him, he put out a whole press release inside of his Instagram story explaining the whole issue. And mind you, I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people understood. I understand. I really hope that his lawyers do get the person who videotaped them. I hope they get the videotape. I hope the valet gets fired because how weird is it to videotape someone against their wishes? Like, I don't even do that. I see when people like sneak pictures of people and I feel like that's a whole violation of privacy. Like, that's not your job. That's not what you should do. So come on, we got to do better. We got to do better with that. And last but not least, here tonight in the city of Houston, Texas, Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade were spotted at a very popular steakhouse restaurant with their release of their new wine collection that they are putting out. That's super exciting. I can't wait. If you don't know or don't know who Dwayne Wade is or Gabrielle Union are, Gabrielle Union was just let go from America's Got Talent because she stood up for she stood up against some racist remarks that were held by a guest. And then Dwayne Wade has been in the news recently for defending the way he's parenting his son who has came out as gay or queer. And people don't recognize that that's his choice. That's the child's choice. And Dwayne Wade is the father, being the father that he is choosing to love him where his son is and not judge him and not criticize him and not hate him because of his choices. So, congrats to them on their release of their wine collection. I wish them all the best. And this is the end of social media basura for this episode. Hey, my loves, if you are interested in advertising with Confessions from a Red Couch, please email me at theconfessionsfromaredcouch@gmail.com. I would love to work with you to get your product out to the masses. Just email at theconfessionsfromaredcouch@gmail.com. Let's work together to get your stuff out there to the people who need it. So let's get into confession time. And the title of this was supposed to be, accomplishing your goals by being true to yourself through self-awareness. But instead, we're going to talk about self-awareness, but the title of this is, I messed up. My bad. I did it. And so here's what happened. Let's get into it. It's finally happened. I messed up. completely with dates and scheduling. I missed out on recording with a great guest because I confused my dates, and now she's busy, so she wasn't able to record or move her time. And I completely understand because I don't like people, wasting my time. And honestly, it's nobody's fault but my own. I may have lost a potential connection because I tried something that really doesn't work well for me. And I didn't recognize that with my self-awareness. I wasn't being true to myself. Now, what did I use? Usually when I talk to my guest, I do it through Facebook Messenger or through DM on Instagram. Why? Because it's easier to track. The chat heads pop up and I can see who I'm talking to. I can keep track of, just everything in there, and it's a clear track. Like I could just scroll and see it. But this time I decided to use email. Now, this is how I was not being true to myself. Number one, I'm not great at checking email. I am not. And I know I need to get better at that because in order to grow my podcast, I have to use email a lot. But I'm not great at checking email. I'm still working with that. Number two, I tried to do something new and different because I felt that it was necessary for me to accomplish my goals. Did it work? Nope, it did not. And so I am honest with myself. I am truthful with myself. Will this stop me? Nope. I'm just going to keep it going and do better. Like I'm going to stick to my old systems. In my mind, this lesson taught me that things happen. I'm human and I have to keep on going because I said one of my goals was to stay consistent. So here I am still recording, still doing what I need to do, still getting the content out to my listeners. Why? Because my mistakes ain't going to stop a show. I still have to put things out there as a promise to myself and as a promise to you. Now, how this goes back to setting goals. That's why when setting goals, you have to understand who you are and know your weaknesses, know your weak points. It's just a lot of things that we have to do. So self-awareness allows me to recognize the flaws in my personality so I know that I could try to avoid them to stay consistent. So this is about staying consistent with my goals. Here's the thing. I just said one. One is I stepped out of my comfort zone and I used email. I am not great at email. If you've never listened to my podcast, when I talk about failure, I think it was either the failure episode or something. I discussed how I lost the job because I didn't check my email like I was supposed to. That is a weakness of mine. I need to get better at that. So I figured maybe if it was something that had more meaning and value to me, that I would check it often. Now I did, but the way everything goes, the way everything scrolls, the way all the replies, I didn't read the reply thread like I should have. And so I mistaked the date. I thought it was one date and it was actually another. And that was my bad. So I have to realize that there are certain systems that I have in place that help me do the things that I need to do. So number one, here's a way that I'm going to get back on track with my guests, because I usually never miss recording with a guest. Like, me, I always, whenever there's a guest on the show, they know when they have to be there. They know what they have to talk about. I have it all pinpoint down. It was hard this time. So I'm going to go back to my old systems. Number one, I'm going to use my calendar to schedule events. So when people tell me dates now, or when I set a date, I'm going to make sure it is on my calendar on my phone so that I can get an alert and it lets me know what's happened. Number two, I'm going to start using Facebook Messenger and my DM on Instagram to communicate. Why? I stated it earlier. It just helps me see that thread is a lot better than going through an email thread, a reply email thread. That's just hard for me. I think it has to do with my ADD. It's too much. It's like way too disorganized, and I can't get my mind to focus on the reply threads. So for me, I'm going to go back to using Facebook Messenger and my DM on Instagram to communicate dates, to communicate, the topics of the show, to continue to remind my guests when we're going to do something and how we're going to do something. Why? Because that's easier to me than opening up my email, doing all. That is hard for some reason. That's hard for me. And also, what I'm going to make sure I do is, even on my show notes, I have a Google Doc where I keep all my show notes and my summaries and my topics I'm going to cover. So on that, I'm going to make sure I continue to put reminders on there. So when I share the show notes with other people, they know the dates. The dates are clear. The times are clear. The topics stay clear. So everybody knows what's happening and what's at stake. That's just something I have to do. So in goal setting, make sure that you are aware of your faults, of your weaknesses, of your strong points, and create a system around those that will help you to not fail. Like I said last week, failure is not the end of things, right? Failure is just a lesson that needs to be learned. It's just a point where, we need to remember something or learn something in order to improve it and to move on. So I don't see this as a failure. Yes, I might have lost a potential connection, and I'm sorry, and I apologize. And, I wrote it in an email. I do apologize. I feel like I wasted her time. But am I going to continue to beat myself up over it? Nope. Why? Because I got to keep moving. I got to keep trucking. I got to keep going forward. If I'm going to keep doing this thing, I have to understand that, I'm going to make mistakes. No, I'm not going to be perfect. No, I won't get everything right. But you know what? I can say I did it. I can say I kept moving forward from it. So from this episode, it's really short, sweet, and to the point. This confession time. Know your weaknesses. Be self-aware and don't wallow in failure. Don't. This is the third week in January. I saw a friend's posting on Facebook that said, dang, the gym's empty. Y'all done? Y'all finished with y'all little goals? What did I tell y'all on the first episode of January? 3 weeks. New Year's resolutions only go for 3 weeks because there's no value behind it. There's no self-awareness in it. There's no motivation behind just saying what you're going to do. You have to know that there have to be behavior changes in order for you to accomplish your goals. And with today's lesson has taught me there are still some behaviors that I need to break in order to accomplish my goals. So I'm not going to wallow in this failure. I'm going to put this episode out. I'm going to stand true in my mistake. I'm going to let y'all know that I made a mistake. And guess what I'm going to do next week? I'm going to celebrate my 1-year anniversary of the podcast. That's what I'm going to do. Why? Because I don't have time to wallow in failure. I don't have time to do it. And you don't either. There is stuff that is inside you that needs to come out. It needs to be out to help other people. So you can keep wallowing in, I'm a failure. I don't know what else I'm going to do. Or you're going to stand back up on your own 2 feet and say, yeah, I messed that up. Yeah, I could say I messed it up. And you know what? I'm not going to make that same mistake again. I may make other mistakes, but that mistake I have learned from and I know how to fix it. So in 2020, let's get these goals, y'all. Next week, I'm celebrating my anniversary. Like I said, the podcast anniversary. So I'm not going to stay here. We know that we have the motivation that we need to accomplish our goals. Let's do this for 2020. Let's do something different for our lives. Let's be better. I'm going to be 38 this year. I don't want to be the same person I was at 37. I don't. And in order to do that, I have goals I have to accomplish. So let's do this together, y'all. Stay true in your goals. Stay true in who you are in your goals. Stay consistent. If you need help, like I said, always don't email me. Inbox me on Facebook Messenger or Instagram Messenger. Why? Because I'll make sure I read it and I will encourage you, because encouraging you encourages me and it tells me that I need to keep going. So let's keep going together, y'all. So this week we have a listener letter, and it is about being consistent. So this letter is from Katie, and let me see. I think she's from. Oh, she's from Florida. Okay, this is Katie in Florida. And it says, I've been wanting to run on my treadmill for a while, but haven't been able to do it consistently because, life happens, things start happening. Now, when I get on it, I feel great after running. I feel amazing. And then I fall off for weeks at a time. And then I stare at it and I stare at the treadmill and feel guilty. So what should I do in order to consistently run? Well, Katie, thank you for writing in. I appreciate you sending the emails. Told you guys, if you send an email, I will read it. So, Katie, I think what you need to do is this. You need to set goals each week, like set mile goals, like how many miles do you want to run in a week, and then track it that way. That way, after, and especially after you finish running on it, if you feel great, then that should be even more reward to get back on it. But set a running goal, set like a mile goal. If you want to run a certain amount of miles in a week, set that and then mark it off, like have your goal tracker by your treadmill. So as soon as you finish running, you can mark it off. Also, make sure that you set aside time. I know life happens. Please believe I have a workout bike that's been sitting here collecting dust because things happen. But you have to always make sure that you carve out some time where you get to do something that you enjoy. So that is something that you enjoy. Make sure you get at least 30 minutes in, tell the hubby, hey, you cook dinner tonight. I want to get on the treadmill. I want to run, or just start dinner so I could run and then I'll finish dinner. That way you could carve out some time for yourself to do the thing that you really like. And then third, we talked about rewarding yourself. So once you hit your running goal or your mile goal or your certain amount of minutes goal, take yourself out, reward yourself, go get some ice cream. It doesn't sound like you're running to lose weight. It sounds like you're running for the feeling. So go do something that makes you feel good because you completed your goal. Goal setting and goal crushing is all about staying consistent. And by being consistent, you have to do things. You have to stay on yourself about getting it done. So thank you for Katie for writing in. I hope that helped you. Let me know, update me. Let me know what happens in the end. If you stay consistent, if you reach your running goal, how your behavior changed, just go ahead and write me with the update. All right, guys, and this is the end of the show. Thank you for tuning in. I will read your listener letters online. All you have to do is send them to the confessions from a red couch at gmail.com. And then in the subject, write, I need help or something like that. Something that will catch my attention. And I'll make sure that I will read your letter on the podcast and we will answer any questions. Next week is the 1 year anniversary of the podcast. So if you're listening and you love me and you love the show, do me a huge favor. Go to Apple Podcasts. It's free. You can have iTunes. You can get the iTunes app for free. And then you can go on there and you can rate and review the podcast. I want to read your reviews on air live. I'm actually going to go into the studio next week because 1 year anniversary. Hey. I don't know. I'm excited, but I'm still kind of nauseous about all this. But anyway, so if you have a review, if you want to send something to my inbox, if you want to, send something to the story, my Instagram stories, please feel free to. I'm going to put something up there so you can say something and I'll even play. If you want to send a voice message on Anchor, I'll play that I will play that on the episode next week. So, let me know what you think. How's this year been? How do you feel about my year in podcasting? And then make sure you listen to all the ads. Nunn Catering. His information will be in the show notes. And if you want to have ad space, contact me at the confessions fromaraecouch@gmail.com so we can get your ad out to everybody and all of my listeners and get your things bought. Guys, thanks for listening once again. Have an amazing rest of your week. Be kind to yourself, be gentle to yourself, and always love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, no one else is going to love you. Bye, guys. Bye.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts.